we're here, we're in the guard. So we're still in our guard series. So this week we're going to work just some very simple, very basic 101 passing. And then we'll get to promotions at the end of the party, right? So first thing we're going to do is just establishing where I want to be in the closed guard. A couple things you want to keep in mind at all times. One, at no point do I want to let him control my posture. I don't care if you're standing straight up. I don't care if you're buried head down. It has to be your choice. It cannot be his choice. If he's the one controlling the posture, he's the one controlling the action, and that's not where you should be here, right? Two, I should never really be grabbing his head or reaching really far kind of past his chest. Very little good things start to happen when you're way up here grabbing the head, and I promise you, if you can, do some bullshit choke from full guard, we probably spent too long getting there and should have been doing other things because they suck. Two, I should keep my hands on the correct side, which means from the tip of his dick to the tip of his nose, I keep my hands on that side in which they start. At no point does this hand go to this side or this hand go to this side. Really no reason for that. All right? Two, I want to keep a good wide base with active toes. Realize some of you will sit flat-footed out of equal parts comfort and laziness. Now, Jeremy, if I were to tell you that I need to move right now with my lower body, what's the first thing I need to do?
Get up on your toes.
Why are we adding an extra step by being flat-footed? It's silly, it's unnecessary, don't do it. All right? So, first thing we're going to do, I'm going to pick which side I want to pass to. So, for me, generally, I like to pass to my left. Puts my right hand generally where I want it, so that's going to be where I want to go. So, with that hand, I'm going to look to grab, on most gis, you're going to see a little cuff line here, like on Austin's. I like to grab that, and I'm going to put it right in the center of his sternum. Not way up in the middle of his chest. Some people will go a little low. I don't hate that, but I don't love it. But I want to grab just that little patch, and I'm keeping that center point here. What that's going to allow me to do is keep good control of his chest. So if Austin goes to move his chest side to side, I have good control of that. This hand, I'm going to grab right below that little loop on your pants. So if you all feel your pants are right here, there's that little loop where your belt comes through. That's where I'm grabbing, is right below that. And I'm rolling my elbow to the top of his thigh to get good thigh control. So now if Austin tries to move his hips or his chest, I have good control and a good bite. Now for me, I'm going to widen towards the side I want to pass to first. This is one of the big details a lot of people miss is they'll get these grips and then they'll go knee up the center first. The problem that does is it puts both my legs basically together, which makes me easy to tip over. So when I'm here, I want to widen first. I don't just widen, I go back just a little bit to keep that 45-degree angle here. My knee then goes up the butt, and I push my hips back and push his leg down. Now, as soon as I feel that guard break, we're going to have a couple different options. First one we're going to do is just a simple step over pass. So I'm here, I start to push that leg down, boom, I drive that knee over. As soon as that knee starts to clear and make contact with the mat, that's when I can let go of the hip, scoop the head, keeping that pressure here. This hand keeps the legs apart, steps out. Just a quick and simple pass. So I'm here with Austin. I decide I'm going to pass the other way for efficacy's sake. Boom, I'm here. I get my grip, widen, knee up that center, push back, pressure down. All we're going to do, I'm going to push with my elbow, step over. As soon as that knee makes contact, boom, scoop, drive over. Questions on this? We're just getting the basics of breaking and passing. Yes?
When do you release the hand that's gripping?
So
That side.
So this hand?
Yes.
So I'm generally, as soon as I get this staple, I'm pretty free to let that go. So at that point, I'm generally going to go here, just to keep a good block. But you may need it to fight for the underhook. You may need it for other things. So you just have a little bit more freedom with that hand. Your top hand needs to control the head, though. So that's where you want to be focusing.
They have the passing arm close to their hip. Are you not making that pass until you scoop it?
This hand,
Yeah.
not concerned with in particular. Because even if he had, let's say he has this hand here, if I have control of his head, the most he can do is like that ghost escape we work every once in a while. But that's why this hand's here. So if he tries to bump and scoot out that way, that's what shoulder pressure and a little bit of aggression's for. If you drive your shoulder through his chin, he wants to frame you up pretty quickly from there. Other questions?
I assume if they lock up a pretty good half guard there, then you're going to
Address others,
pause
yeah.
and wait for that underhook.
Yeah.
You don't want to go for that underhook.
Yeah, you start doing other things at that point. Right now we're just kind of scratching the surface. So. Other questions? Hensley?
If he's framing hard, that arm, how are you dealing with that?
So boom, I get here and he starts to really try to frame.
When you're trying to pressure into it and framing with his right arm,
So back a step.
like putting it in your neck basically.
So like when I get here,
No, like when you're trying to pass, he's driving his elbow into your neck, framing away.
boom, he tries to frame here. That's where I'm going to go chest to chest here. So he starts to really frame. That, guys, realize a couple key control points that you want to focus on. Head, chest, hips. Realize the second I can get his neck turning a different direction than his hips. With this staple, boom, I've pinned his hips basically facing this way, unless he has just that crazy flexibility and can just like split, right? So the second I can turn his head this way, Austin's a big strong kid and all that, but it doesn't matter because the second your spine starts to twist that way, going to be very hard. Now, you may need to beat that a little bit or, you know, address it, but the big thing is going to be having proper head control and a solid staple there. Keep his hips and head turned. Does that make sense? Okay. Other questions on this? All right. 1, 2, 3. Here with Steers. Good things are happening in my life because I'm much better looking than him. I get here, I get my grip. I break, boom, all these good things start to happen, right? But I'm here, boom, I go to staple over, and Austin does the most common thing that most people are going to do. They're just going to try to lock down a half guard here. So boom, I go to start trying to pass, and he just kind of gets that half guard. I don't like that. So that's going to be a pretty common problem that most of us run into. So I get here, boom, I go to start driving over, and Austin tries to lock down some sort of a half guard. So I'm here, boom, I'm trying to pressure pass, right? All we're going to do is I'm still going to try to pass this way. Instead though, this knee, I'm going to slide in his hip. This hand, I'm going to come here, start pushing that leg back. With my bottom leg, I'm going to pressure his thigh down. So, boom, we go to staple pass. Boom, Austin abandons and tries to come here. Boom. Couple things. This hand has to keep a solid either grip or placement, and I have to turn his head away. He has to look at Jordan and all his prettiness. My bottom leg has to pin down that thigh, and I'll switch sides here. This hand I'm going to use to try to open those legs, and I'm going to back step. As soon as you back step, you better have a solid base. Because what most people are going to try to do is drive into you here. Boom. The only thing you can't do is lose this underhook. So when you're here, boom, this hand comes here, it has to come in, drive back up into side control. So I'm here with Steers, good things are happening. Boom, boom, I widen, boom. I step over, I start to go to pass and Austin catches that, boom. That comes in. I start to open and start to brace here. As soon as I can, I back step here, boom, he might buck, he might do whatever, boom, we drive back in, flattening him back out.
You said you start to open. What are you opening there?
Pushing his top leg away, using that bottom leg to keep his knee down. Does that make sense? Other questions?
You are kind of sit to a side before you backstep. Do you have to do that?
Generally, yes. Because we're hitting this kind of in succession. So So if I'm just trying to backstep pass from half guard, no. But from this one, we're going from here to this. So that's why we're going to that backstep. Does that make sense? Okay. Other questions, Carolyn?
Are you using your shoulder to drive his face to turn it?
Yes. My shoulder is all but punching him, you know, kind of those cheapy shoulder, everything but that to turn his face that way.
When you are with your opposite leg, the one that's not backstepping,
Yes.
you're kind of keeping the leg trapped between your ankle.
Yeah.
How much pressure do you have on that? Take that step back.
Enough to keep it down. So when I'm here, I'm driving my knee into his hip bone and I'm keeping that ankle on top of his thigh. Because when I'm here, what Austin's going to realize very quickly bad things are starting to happen, so he's going to try to keep this knee at all costs, right? Boom. I'm going to keep pushing here. Now, if he's not fighting with this bottom leg, I'm just keeping enough pressure to keep it flat. Sometimes you're going to actually have to put pressure there to get it to stop. So just keeping solid pressure there. It's not like a, oh, 100% here or there. It's as needed. Mendoza, that was your question. Other?
When, say shit happens, you use the under.
You better fight for it back very quickly.
Do you continue to step back in it?
I would still take side and then start immediately fighting for that. Because basically the reason you don't want to give up this underhook in half guard is he's going to start bumping it up into you and he's going to start coming up. So the second you get to side here, you better be here and starting to, even if you have to completely abandon that side and come here, you can't give up that underhook. Not that.
Jordy, continuation of that, is there, I guess this is kind of just true, but what, like, I guess circumstances, what would he have to do for you to want to go to north-south, or like have to switch sides?
I almost never go north-south.
Yeah,
I don't believe it's a real position. I believe you're stalling in it. There's like one half-ass choke you can get from north-south. You can disagree with me if you like. You're allowed to be wrong in life. But very rarely am I worried enough to go to north-south. Let's be, if I'm ever going north-south on you, I'm either bullying you or setting something wild. It's never because I think north-south is a good decision. Other questions? One more? Other than one more? All right. Boom, we're here. Yeah, I'll throw you around. Boom, set your grips. Wide base here. Boom, I start to staple here. He locks that half guard. Boom, I sit to that hip. Start using that knee and using that ankle to separate here. Separate, back step. That back step, guys, you have to be ready. Because if he bucks right now, you have to be able to fight back into him. Looking for that underhook early and often. Questions? 1, 2, 3. That's gonna be my new habit. I think I'm gonna be like the old Thai guys, just rip cigs and be ready. Alrighty, so we're here. Boom, I start my pass. Boom, I get here. And I start to break, but for whatever reason, I just don't feel confident passing this direction, right? Sometimes that'll happen, right? You just don't want to go this way. Just not who you are or what you want, right? Sometimes that's just the way they open. So boom, I go here. I don't like that. So instead, I'm going to step this knee up here, keeping a nice good shin pressure on the cup. Because I'm a gentleman, and I want Austin to feel that. Boom. I'm here, but instead of passing this way, all I'm going to do is drive this knee over to that same staple, and I'm going to step my back leg up. So I'm here and here, keeping a good split. Now, same thing that we did last time. Boom, I scoop Austin's head, keeping good pressure, and pass. Good shoulder pressure is always important in these passes, guys. If you're losing a lot of these, realize it's either your staple or your shoulder pressure. So boom, I'm here. I widen, split, open. Here, drive over, step up. This will also stop a lot of that getting trapped in half guard stuff that you may run into. Same thing, I'm gonna scoop that head, drive his head across, and I'm pressuring this leg not just into the mat, down and away. It's gonna help with the pass. So I'm pushing this leg down and away, driving up with that pressure. This leg, you can back step and then drive your knee in. I also like to just windshield wiper my legs over. That's more of a preference. For those of you who like back step, overstep passing, it's a great one for it. For those of you who don't do a lot of that, you can just windshield wiper across. So I'm here, working with Austin. I'm gonna pass his guard because I'm, you know, much better looking. Boom, I'm here, staple, step. And I'm using this to control his hips. If Austin wants to move right now, there's not a lot of great motion options available for him. So I'm here, scoop that head, and I'm using that pressure to drive and open his hips while I'm kicking this leg back. Here, here, here. Questions on that?
So your other hand is going onto the mat?
On the mat, can post to the hip, can hand fight. Top hand is more addressing the problem at hand than it is doing any particular one thing. Because like when I get here, everyone's gonna have a little bit different of a reaction to this control. Austin's gonna start framing, so I may have to start addressing with the hand. Other people might start looking for my feet here. So they might start reaching under and trying to get here. So I may be trying to go here or pressuring with the hand here. So that top hand's more auxiliary, has some open options for what it can be up to. Other questions?
They're like, you know, someone is kind of like how I play our like invert knee and just needs to do it.
Yeah.
Is there ever where you can scoop that bottom leg and go over the other side? Obviously you can try to do that, but like
From here?
like once you get that stable and you start and you get that knee pretty high up on that side, can you target that side?
Yes, there is a version of this where you go here into leg staple. Where you can go, yeah, not today's lesson, but not a wrong pathway in your brain. What I like to do if I am going that direction, just as a little bit of a bonus, I'll start going here, and I'll go here, and then I can walk into that and have a good, you know, especially with them less flexible guys, they'll give it to you just because they don't want to do the split, the forced split.
Instead of making a complete back step, didn't you just slice through and go straight down position also?
So make sure I'm hearing you correctly. Could I come here and slice this way?
No, as you were doing your normal slice through, instead of completely back stepping, once you have a staple,
Yeah.
you just bring the knee up and through,
Yeah.
across the mat.
Oh, yeah, you could rush to mount. I generally don't like to pass to mount there, only because you're opening yourself up for a quick counter.
Yeah,
That would be my big, it's not wrong, not my ideal, because especially as you start moving up in rank, they're not giving that up. You know, like if I get here, boom, I get here, I start to go here and try to come this, you know, you're in a little bit more of a compromised position than what I would prefer for someone who doesn't suck. I could do that to Austin, obviously, but like I wouldn't do that to you or the real Austin.
The real Austin.
But that
I'm
would
CGI, guys.
Yeah, that would be my big. Could it work? Yes. Does it have an opening? Everything.
How about then, I guess, instead of slicing across after you already backstep and you know you can just take side control there,
Yeah.
if they're not very aggressive with that leg, like you said, either they're bad or they're tired, would you use that instead of underhooking if you, like, would you try to shove that aside and then step over to mount from there?
Oh, like if I got here and they weren't being what they, you know, weren't doing what
Well, like
they.
after you backstep, or like you know you're good, and they're not very active with that leg,
Oh,
then is that a
yeah,
great
that's
step?
where I'm
That's
saying
what
back step, overstep is available.
Okay, yeah.
Like if I'm here, guys, what I'm saying with back step, overstep, right? We will run this, it comes up in the curriculum here soon, right? But the basics of back step, overstep is I have his hips this way, his head that way, right? So boom, I have that. As soon as I back step, boom, being able to come back up and overstep. If he's being lazy there, absolutely, take him out. But most good guys aren't going to just give you that. So that's where I'm saying, yes, available. There are passes straight to mount. The realism, I don't want to be one of those guys who shows you the thing that looks really cool while you drill it, but has zero practical application. I think that's really very cool. So I think that has a lower probability of working. Not 0%, but not 50+%, which is what I like that.
When you're doing the back step to go into side control, are you taking your other leg out before you put that leg in? Or?
So boom, I'm stapled, I'm here. I shoulder in, I back step, and this leg's in until once I get here, I have to look for that underhook again, and then I will pull that leg out as I drive that knee over. Other questions? Questions, Kat? Comments for the crowd?
Are we doing this one or the overstepping?
Just back stepping in the side.
Okay.
I was showing that for effect.
Okay.
All right? 1, 2, 3.